My arrogant millionaire neighbor bulldozed my late grandmother's memorial garden to illegally build a $150,000 luxury pool on my property while I was out of the country. I let him finish the entire expensive build, legally claimed ownership of the structure, and ordered 3 dump trucks to fill it with wet concrete right in the middle of his massive pool party. I inherited a beautiful, modest home from my late grandmother. The property had a massive, gorgeous backyard with a special memorial garden I planted just for her. My next-door neighbor, Richard, was a textbook arrogant millionaire. He bought the massive mansion next to me and immediately started treating the neighborhood like his own personal kingdom. For months, Richard harassed me, demanding I sell him a strip of my backyard so he could build an Olympic-sized luxury infinity pool. I politely refused every single time, telling him the memorial garden meant everything to me. He would just scoff, call me a sentimental little girl, and tell me he always gets what he wants. 3 months ago, my company sent me on a mandatory 3-week international business trip. When I finally came home, exhausted and jet-lagged, I walked into my backyard and completely broke down in tears. Richard had hired a private construction crew. They had completely bulldozed my grandmother's memorial garden, ripped up my fences, and were halfway through pouring a massive $150,000 infinity pool. And worst of all, over 60% of the entire concrete structure was illegally built directly on my property. I was shaking with pure rage. I almost ran over there screaming, but I stopped myself. I immediately called a ruthless property lawyer and a state-licensed surveyor. The surveyor secretly mapped the exact property lines, proving Richard was blatantly trespassing. My lawyer smiled and gave me the most evil, brilliant advice I have ever heard. He told me that under our specific state property laws, any permanent structure illegally built and attached to my land automatically becomes my legal property. He told me not to say a single word, so I stayed completely silent. I watched from my window for a month as Richard spent over $150,000 installing custom Italian tiles, underwater lighting, and expensive heating systems entirely on my land. Finally, the pool was finished. Richard threw a massive catered pool party, inviting all his rich, snobby friends. They were drinking champagne and laughing, completely ignoring the fact that they were in my backyard. At exactly 2 p.m., the heavy machinery arrived. I didn't walk over with a lawsuit. I walked over followed by 3 massive industrial cement mixer trucks and 2 local police officers. The heavy trucks beeped loudly as they backed directly onto my lawn, aiming their massive metal chutes straight into the pristine blue water of the pool. The music stopped. Richard ran over, screaming hysterically, threatening to have me arrested. The police officers calmly stepped in, checked my certified property deeds and court orders, and told Richard that if he stepped onto my property, he would be arrested for trespassing. Richard and his 50 rich friends watched in absolute helpless horror as my crew pulled the levers. 10 tons of thick, gray, wet concrete poured directly into the beautiful, expensive infinity pool, completely destroying the tiles, the filters, and the $150,000 investment in a matter of minutes. Richard tried to sue me, but the judge threw the case out and instead ordered him to pay me $50,000 in damages for destroying my grandmother's garden. I used his money to rebuild an even better garden, right over the dried concrete of his ruined dreams.